And welcome to a VSA video blog, and delighted to have again Thomas Abraham Jones, who is the CEO and president of Pulsar Helium. Hi, Thomas, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. Good morning, Andrew. Nice to see you.
Good. Right, now you've had quite a few RNSs out recently, which is why we wanted to get together and have a chat. So there's three in particular we're going to have a little chat about. Why
Mhm.
don't we start with the one that's come out most recently, which is an RNS about warrant exercising. Just explain why that's important and interesting.
Yeah, well, look, we're very grateful to our major shareholder. So it's a major shareholder, which is AB Capital. They've exercised their warrants, and it's quite a significant amount, so 15.5 million of them. So in pound sterling terms, that brings in just over £3 million into the company, which is fantastic working capital. And so, no, very supportive shareholder. Yeah, it allows us to keep going, particularly with the drilling program that we've got at the moment. And so, with that, the major shareholder keeps their board's position with the company. So, Brice Lorraine represented on our board, and off we go. So, yeah, look, with their share positions increased, but they haven't breached the 20% threshold. No, we're sitting quite pretty at the moment from a financial standpoint.
And just, I mean, obviously bearing in mind there are only certain things you can say which are in the public domain, but your cash balances at the moment where are they standing after this roughly, if you look at your last public announcement?
I have to do some currency conversions in my head now, but we'll be looking at probably US. We'd probably be looking at somewhere in the vicinity of around about five, thereabouts. And then in addition to that, we do have a project finance facility available to us as well, which is an additional $4 million US.
And I mean, the reality is you're what I describe as a very low cost driller anyway, with the way you've done it all. So your balance sheet, should we say, is quite healthy for where you are at the moment.
Yeah, with the drilling method that we're using now, it's certainly a lot cheaper than what we used in the past for this resource drill out. And yeah, we get a lot of bang for our buck, that's for sure.
Yeah, good. Right, let's have a little look at some of I mean, you just mentioned drilling there. One of the RNSs you put out recently was a drilling update that looked pretty positive. So just, do you want to give us a quick view on that, please?
Yeah, certainly. So Jetstream number 3, which we started only a few weeks ago, and so we've got the other two wells, which is what we've talked about in the public domain, and then number 3, it's yet to be completed, but very close to reaching target depth. But what we found is that as it's been traveling down, has encountered multiple gas-bearing zones, and with that has come significant pressure, more pressure than we've seen in any of the previous wells. So we're getting very close to 1,000 psi, which is magnificent. So that's really, more or less, roughly speaking, 5 times the pressure that we've seen in the other wells. And we know that with the other wells that they've delivered, particularly Jetstream number 1 was delivering a good flow rate. We know that the helium concentration is very high. This particular well, number 3, is about a kilometer to the north of Jetstream number 1. So, we're certainly not anticipating any major changes in the gas composition. So, yeah, I must admit, it's 3 from 3. I'm feeling very good about it, as is the technical team. And the next steps are that once we complete the well, as I say, in the next couple of days, then we'll be providing an update on all the additional testing that will be carried out more or less immediately upon completion.
Just to put that into perspective for those that perhaps aren't totally up to speed on what PSI and sort of those sort of pressures are, but by 1,000 is huge. I mean, to put it into context, your bicycle tug, I always think is pretty high pressure. It's only 70 PSI. But how does that rank against what you would normally be drilling and what you might have expected? Just to put
Yeah,
it into
look, we were
context.
seeing with Jetstream number 1, we were seeing PSI around about 150. With Jetstream 2, it was around 200, and so now to get Jetstream 3 about 960, it's a big step. And the good thing is, technically, we were prepared for this as well, so we had all the systems in place. But very encouraging that each time you do a connection, that there's gas bubbling there, and no, it's a bit shallower than we've seen before as well. So it's multiple zones. We haven't even finished drilling, so who knows? Maybe there'll be more as well. But extremely encouraging is how I would term it. There was a lot of excitement when we hit that gas and under that pressure. So yeah, very proud of the team.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is very, very high pressure. I mean, you talked about that being a kilometre north. You've also been acquiring some more land packages, and you had an RNS on that. Do you want to just talk through that?
Yeah, certainly. So, we've been operating now in this part of Minnesota for a number of years. As the first mover there for the helium, we've really been building up the technical case for it. Okay, so why is it there? Where do you find it, etc. And so the opportunity to acquire this package of land to the west of us, so still in Minnesota, but just off to the west, it was a great opportunity. It's a large land package. But importantly, it really meets the criteria of what we see as being, very prospective ground for helium. So without going too deep into the geology, effectively you have the same helium source rock there, but then what you have is a different trapping reservoir model. So where we've been drilling, where we are drilling now, it's what you call a fractured basement play. In this new ground that we've acquired, it's a more conventional sedimentary basin system where the gas would be trapped in sandstones and so ever. So it's with that one, the difference being it's earlier stage. The discovery hasn't yet been made, but we're confident that all the right ingredients are there, that it meets the Goldilocks criteria. There's also been a few questions out there as well. So the company that we acquired, it has got hydrogen in its name, so they've been off there looking for hydrogen. But that is not what we are looking for. It's certainly not a pivot of the business. We actually firmly believe that this ground is very prospective for helium indeed.
I mean, so that reinforces the message you're a helium play. But I mean, talk us through how the economics of this work, because you have got obviously some gas as well, and your contractor. How is that all looking as the sort of the big picture for the end result?
Yeah, look, we've got a really tremendous mixture of gases, I guess you could say. So the helium is by far and away the one with the most economic value. Then what we see subordinate to that is CO2. And CO2, even still subordinate, it's still fetching a very high price, sometimes up in the order of 10 times the price of natural gas. And that's because of its increased applications and shortage in the US, in fact, as well. And then the third one is that we announced not too long ago that a certain isotope of helium, helium-3, is also present in our gas, and that's an extremely rare and very valuable material. So much so that people are looking to extract it from the moon, which I still find quite baffling. But for us, it's we know that the gas is there. We know that it's a relatively high concentration compared to other sources on Earth. And we've just appointed a helium-3 specialist to really look into it and see what is the opportunity there. Are we able to add that as a third gas that we could potentially monetize? So really look out of the total composition of the gas that's present. It's roughly about 85% of the gas that is coming to surface is a saleable commodity.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, really. And just maybe finally to sort of wrap up this fairly short video. The mood, obviously, we know the mood in America and actually globally for critical metals, as it's determined, is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Helium is critical. You are right not quite in the center of America, but you're right in the center of America, shall we say. But I mean, you're an American-based company. How is the mood for helium been going in the last few months? Is it sort of on the same bandwagon?
It is, certainly. So I returned not long ago from a semiconductor conference in Phoenix, Arizona. And so that is a huge industry for us. So semiconductors is number one for helium. And in the critical supply chain risks, helium was talked about. So it was really helium and rare earth elements were the two that were most talked about. So we know that's of interest. There was also commentary around how to supply secure chains. I mean, should there be investment at the project level in order to secure that supply? So when that's being talked about, certainly you can tell it's getting very serious. The other thing is that helium, its use and so on, it's very much for the high tech industry, but it's a tricky commodity because it's really about having domestic supply of it. It doesn't like to travel. It really doesn't. So it does like to leak out of the containers that it's in. So should foreign imports start coming into the US in an increased capacity, then there is always the risk that there's, A, leakage because it likes to leak, B, geopolitical issues, which we've seen in the past. The big suppliers outside of the USA are Qatar, Russia, and Algeria. So really having national domestic supply in the United States is something which is very much desired by the end user.
Yeah, I maybe find it's worth commenting. I mean, you had to start with what I describe as a very quiet share price. Fairly recently, you've had quite a move up. And actually, year to date, you're now up about 50%. You have come off the top a little bit. It's always nice to see a share price going up. But again, compared to other, should we call them critical metals, actually, they have an even stronger performance. So, I mean, I'm guessing, without putting words in your own mouth, we're now starting to see people wake up to Pulsar Helium. The stock is starting to react, but there's plenty more upside to come. Is that a fair way to finish off this without you saying anything you shouldn't say, Thomas?
I tend to agree, of course. I mean, helium is slightly less known than the other critical metals out there. So rare earths, I think everybody's now an expert on those. And then you've got copper and lithium and so on. Helium has still been something that there's been a certain degree of education required. So we still had to get past the helium balloon chat. But I think now that it's starting to get there, we're starting to see that it's having that moment. I mean, put it this way, with lithium, just over a decade ago, the only consideration I had for lithium was lithium grease that I put on my bicycle chain. Now, all of a sudden, it's the most critical battery metal that's out there. And so I'd like to think that helium is having its day in the sun, where it's no longer just balloons, but it's now like, oh, yes, you need helium to make semiconductors. And so hopefully that renaissance moment is soon upon us, and people realize just how important it is. And therefore, I think that we at Pulsar are in a great opportunity to benefit from that.
I think we need a new asset class called rare gases. And then people maybe will get the message.
Exactly right. That sounds good to me.
Anyway, Thomas, look, great to chat. I'm sure we'll be chatting again in the not too distant future, because you're always busy doing things, and it's a very exciting story. But for anybody watching this, if they want to obviously get more information, please do come direct to VSA or direct to Pulsar Helium. But it's been great to chat, Thomas. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Cheers.